and about cryptocurrency. So, Doc, I'm going to turn it over to you because we're all looking forward to hearing some great information about the bot and cryptocurrency. How about that?
All righty. All right. Well, good evening. Good evening to all of our Digi Millionaires out there. We've got a lot of content to cover. This is going to be more training than anything else. All right. So we're not going to be swinging around the chandeliers. I've got my instructor hat on, my teaching hat on. First off, let's start by making sure that we are very clear that the best way for us to become Digi Millionaires, the best way, not close, the best way for us to become Digi Millionaires is to develop our own, in times past I've called it a coin portfolio. I'm going to refer to it as a Digi portfolio because some of these assets are considered coins, some of them are considered tokens. So I'll just refer to the entire space as Digi. The best way, not close, for us to become Digi Millionaires is to develop a Digi portfolio that we own and we control. The bot is not developing the portfolio. The bot serves a different purpose, assuming that we do endorse the bot. We're not ready to endorse her full-heartedly yet, though we are pleased with what we're seeing in testing. So we'll talk about the purpose of the bot and how that fits into the grand scheme of things. But I want to make sure that going forward, particularly coming off of the lending platforms essentially collapse with BitConnect and with DeVorcoin collapsing, and that's, just caused all sorts of upheaval throughout the rest of that industry, that we are very, 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 very clear. The best way, not close, for you and I to become a Digi Millionaire is for us to develop a Digi portfolio that you own. You own yours, you control yours. I own mine, I control mine. That we own, that we control. Okay, real quickly. So most of you that have been following us, you've seen this, where we share this typically on our Tuesday night webinars. We'll take a look at various assets. We normally will pull 20 assets off of coinmarketcap.com. And we'll look at where they were a year ago, or as of when we did this last update, and where they are in today's pricing. So the last time we did this was back a week ago on February the 6th. By the way, Danielle, happy birthday. Your birthday and my wife's birthday, the same day, February the 6th. Last week, Bitcoin was going for 76.44, which is considerably down from her highs. Her highs have been close to 20,000. And yet, when you look at it in light of the past 12 months, she was still up significantly. So this is what she was a year ago being February the 5th, 2017. This is what she was a week ago, so that you have a year's point of reference here, okay? Up 634%. Had you invested $1,000 into Bitcoin back on February the 5th, 2017, held on to it to February 6, 2018, with the ups and downs and down and ups, your $1,000 would have made profit $6,344.51. Your total value in Bitcoin alone as of last week's price would have been $73.44.51. And so if we look at that, and again, we took 20 assets off of coinmarketcap.com. Here's Ethereum. Here was the price last week. It's up this week. Most of these are up this week because they were so depressed in price from the market really, being the Red Sea over the past 5 weeks. The market's really been down. But when you look at it from an annual basis, they were still up sharply. Ethereum was up 6,600%. Ripple was up 11,535%. It's up significantly more now because it's well off of these 76 cents. It's well over $1 now. And so the point is that had you had the resources to put $1,000 into each of these 20 assets, okay, over a 12-month period, your $1,000 per asset, $20,000, and I know not everybody has $20,000 to do this, but what if you had $2,000? And you put $100 into each of these assets and you just forgot about it. And I'm not talking about trading. I'm not talking about the bot. I'm just talking about your own coin portfolio. And this isn't even how we look to build our coin portfolio, just buying it and walking away and forgetting about it. Okay? Let me show you what this would be worth 12 months later. $536,000. And that's with prices as of last week having come down significantly from where all of those assets where they were on their highs. If they get back to where they were, it's likely that you would have been close to, if not over $1 million with just these 20 assets. So I want to make it clear, going forward, any webinar that we do, no matter what we talk about, if we talk about a bot, if we talk about some other third party, something, I want to make it clear, the best way for us to become Digi Millionaires is to develop a Digi portfolio that we own and that we control. Okay, so now let's talk about the difference between that, developing a Digi portfolio that you own and control, and the bot. Okay, now in developing your own Digi portfolio, what we're going to want to do is ultimately get these assets and hold on to these assets for a period of time. Now, there's a buy and hold strategy where you just buy it, forget about it, walk away, and then come back later on. We do more of a trade and hold in our Digi trading, our Digi labs. So we teach you more to, hey, let's buy Bitcoin, or let's buy Ethereum, or let's buy Ripple when she dips down. Let's sell her at a decent profit, but let's not sell all of Ripple. Let's keep some Ripple from that transaction, because what we find is very often we're able to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell multiple times. For instance, there's one asset, Stellar Lumens, that we have bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold 4 times since January, I think January the 5th of this year. And each time we bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold, we got a 13.7% return. And every time we sold her, we never sold all of her. So that with each buy and sell transaction, we were retaining some more Stellar Lumens. And then we bought and sold again. But we didn't sell it all. So we had some more Stellar Lumens after those 2 transactions. We did it a 3rd time. Took some profits off the table, 13.7% profits off the table, but we held on to some more Stellar Lumens. And what happens by doing that is over time, we build a really nice position in that type of asset. There's another asset that we've bought and sold twice now over the last 3 weeks. Both of the times that we bought and sold, we got a 35.89% return. But we don't sell it all. We bought the first leg. When we sold a portion of it, not all of it. So we're building a position. It came back down, we bought again. It went back up, we sold a portion of it, 35.89% return. All right, so now we're building a position. By the way, those of you that are Digi Millionaires, if you will go into your back office at some point, make a note of this. I just didn't have time to send this out today. Go under Digi Trading Lab, go under our last lab, and the asset that I'm talking about starts with a Z as its trading symbol. And it was underneath our buy zone. So you can actually get it at a better price than what we got that at. So if you buy it at the current market price, which is underneath our buy zone, and if you still sell it at our sell zone, assuming that it gets there, and I have no reason to believe why it won't eventually get there, then you'd have more than a 35.89% return. You might be more than 40%. Okay, so we're teaching our audience, without you having to become a techie, without you having to learn about chart reading and all that other stuff, how you can develop your own coin portfolio that nobody can take away from you. We don't have to worry about BitConnect putting a post saying, hey, our lending platform is no longer, but still participate in the BitConnect X ICO so we can take more of your money. Now, we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about DevoreCoin sending out a message or doing an interview about 3 or 4 days before they said their lending platform was gone, reassuring everyone that everything was okay. And thank goodness I did not send that out to our audience. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. Okay? We don't have to worry about that in developing our own Digi portfolio. Okay? All right. Now, that's the Digi portfolio. That's something you want to control. What's the difference between that and leveraging the bot? By building your own portfolio, you are building positions in that asset that you're going to hold for a while. You're going to trade it perhaps, but then look to hold a portion of it for longer term appreciation. Okay? And we don't have time to do this now, but if we were to go to coinmarketcap.com, you'd be amazed if you were to go and I'll do one. I'll do one of these. If we go and we pull up Dash, okay, which Dash at its height back in early January, just a month ago, Dash was trading in the $1,500 range. Man, she's down to $602 right now. And you say, oh my gosh, well, wait a minute. If you took a prevailing price right now of 602, let's bring up my calculator. And you subtracted out where she got started. Now, obviously, we weren't here when Dash got started. So I'll tell you what, let's look and see how long Dash has been around. Bear with us. So I'm just going to give you just one example, okay, of why we want to develop our own coin portfolio and hold. All right. So for instance, we got into the when Dash first came on the scene, Dash was going for 21 cents. I'm not going to go way back there. We came into the Digi space. We didn't know what we had a hold of back in September of 2014. So I'm going to say September. I'll say September 30th. Okay. All right. Had we known what we know now, we started learning a little bit about this space. Just didn't know how powerful and explosive it was. But let's say that back then that we had gotten some Dash at $2.86. And right now it's going for 602. So let's say subtract out 286. Let's say we just bought some Dash back on September 30th, 2014. A little over 3 years. Okay. This would be the profit on that Dash, and if we divide it by the 286, what we maybe could have bought it for back then Dash, if we move our decimal 2 places to the right, would be up 20,000%. Or in other words, our Dash would be up 209 times our initial investment. So if we had $1,000 that we had put in Dash, and didn't even trade it, just bought it and forgot about it and walked away, 3 years later, 3.5 years later, our Dash would be valued at $209,000. So what if you had 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of these types of assets like that? This is why we believe that if you will just follow what we're doing, that every one of us can become Digi Millionaires. Okay? That's building your Digi portfolio. Okay. So where does the bot differ? In the bot is not holding on to the assets. Okay? The bot, and hopefully I didn't get kicked out. The bot is buying and selling, and it's selling the entire trade. We're developing our Digi portfolio. We're buying and selling, but we're not selling the entire trade. So if to give you a stock market analogy, if we bought 100 shares of ABC stock, and then once we look to sell it, maybe we're only selling 70 shares of the 100, and we kept 30 as an example. Okay, that's not our formula, but as an example. And then if that stock comes back to our original buy zone, and we buy it again, let's say we buy another 100 shares, and then when we sell it, we sell another 70 shares. Now all of a sudden we've got 30 shares left over from the initial buy and sell entry and exit. We've got another 30 shares from the second buy and sell in this example. Again, that's not our exact formula, but I just want to give you the point. Whereas with the bot is looking to buy and sell the entire piece. So let's go here, for instance. All right. And now some things to note about the bot. The bot will never, ever sell at a loss. And so part of our testing is to make sure that the bot does what they say the bot is supposed to do. We've been looking potentially at other bots, because if we're going to employ a bot, we want to have the best one. Okay. Yes, we'd like to employ one that has a marketing compensation plan to it, because if we've got a good bot that's producing results, positive results, and it's got a marketing plan, then that could be a way to position our audience to generate some additional revenue, so you have more trading resources. So whether you are putting that for the bot to use, or whether you're doing that in your own Digi portfolio, or a combination of the two. And we still want to position our audience so that you have in time a measurable, a meaningful monthly income. You've got a monthly Digi portfolio budget to build your Digi portfolio. And ultimately, you also have a marketing budget. Now, I will tell you that CRB Digi Millionaires alone, standing alone, is not conducive at just a $49.95 a month price point. You can't really build something online with just a $49.95 a month price point, because ultimately to build outside of your circle of friends and family, which most people don't have a large enough circle of friends and family in marketing to be successful, you've got to do some advertising. And so we want to have a third party that we can tie in with what we're doing at CRB Digi Millionaires, where it makes sense. It's not a totally different message. It becomes a part of our messaging. It helps us to get to where we want to be in terms of developing our own Digi portfolio, but something that those of us that want to market can market. And when someone joins and buys or what have you, that could generate enough revenue to start to have some marketing campaigns. Okay. All right. So look at the bot here. The bot is programmed to never take a loss. And the bot has worked beautifully well. It's done everything they said it was going to do. We have not seen it close out a trade that was not profitable. All right. So it's designed never to take a loss. There will be times that we will be in trades that are losing. But if you follow what we're teaching, personally, in my bot, I'm never going to have the bot trading an asset that I don't want in my longer term portfolio. So here is a top 20 asset called VeChain. It's on the top 20. It's one of the biggest assets on CoinMarketCap. I want this in my longer term portfolio. The fact that it's down 22% doesn't bother me, because I want this in my longer term portfolio anyway. Now, the bot's not designed to help me build my longer term portfolio. All right. I'm doing that aside from the bot. I'm actually doing that in a different account than what the bot is trading. I want the bot to trade what the bot trades. And I don't want to have my coin portfolio or my Digi portfolio budget in with the bot account. I want to be able to look at the bot and know that everything that's happening, good or bad, positive or negative, is because of the bot. Okay. All right, you see all of these completes here. You'll also notice that the bot never closes out a trade without generating at least a 1% return on that trade. All right. So when we got into this transaction here, trading Bitcoin against Dash, once it hit the profit target that the bot set, and we don't know what the algorithm is, we just know it's not going to close out a losing trade, 1. 2, it's only going to close out a winning trade when it's at least 1% or more in profit. And you'll see that most of these are more than 1%. You'll see some 3s and some 4s. There's a 5.96, so on and so forth. All right. But where you see complete, the bot got in and out. Here, the bot got in and out. Here, the bot got in and out. So the bot's not building a portfolio for us. Okay. It's getting in and out. But let me show you. This is important. This is important. Let me show you what the bot is doing for us. Okay? All right. So, if we were talking about US dollars. So, if we were talking about US dollars. Give me just a moment. Let's make sure. Okay, so if we were talking about US dollars, all right, dollars are denominated in 0.01, meaning that you can break down a full dollar in pennies. So 0.01 equals a penny. This is the smallest denomination of the US monetary system. $1, if you broke it down, you've got two decimal places beyond, I'm sorry, 2 places beyond the decimal. 0.01, 1 penny. 0.06, 6 pennies. 0.23, 23 pennies, or 23 cents. Okay? Now, similarly, Bitcoin. All right. Instead of 0.1, give me a moment, you've got 8 places beyond the decimal. So you have 0.00000. My keyboard's getting stuck for some reason. 0, 0, 0. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay. US dollars denominated in 0.01 when you break it down to its smallest component, a penny. Bitcoin, 0.0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. 8 places beyond the decimal. Now, this is important for us to get. This is called a satoshi. This one right here is called a satoshi for the person that supposedly developed or came up with the concept of Bitcoin. And I say supposedly because we really don't know who the dude is or what have you. Okay. All right. So that's named after him, a Satoshi. Now, here's what I want us to think of Satoshis as. A Satoshi is Digi real estate. A Satoshi is Digi real estate or digital real estate. What do we mean by that? There's never going to be more real estate on earth than there is right now. There's never going to be any more real estate All the real estate there is already here. Now, you might have some places that are uninhabited or some places that are wildlife preserves or what have you. You might have some folks go in and tear down some trees and turn it into some subdivision or golf course or what have you. But the actual dirt, the actual land, there's never going to be any more of that. Okay? Likewise, in time, there'll never be any more Bitcoin. Bitcoin was designed so that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. And right now in circulation, there's over 16 million. So there's only another less than 5 million Bitcoins that will ever be created. And so one of the reasons that real estate, and yes, it goes through its cycles where it may be down, but ultimately it comes back and goes up, is because you've got limited supply. You've got growing demand for real estate, but you've got limited supply. And so what happens to the prices of an asset when there is a huge demand but limited supply? Ultimately, there'll be cycles in the market. Market may be down for a spell, but ultimately prices move north. Prices go up. Okay? So this right here is Digi Real Estate that we want to start getting our hands on more satoshis. And that's where the bot comes into play, because the bot's design is to help us to grow the amount of satoshis that will ultimately lead to, so a satoshi is a fraction of 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 a Bitcoin. So ultimately, we want to generate more and more and more and more satoshis, so that now those fractions of a 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 fraction of a fraction of a Bitcoin becomes a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. Then a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, then a fraction of a fraction, then a fraction, then a Bitcoin, then 2 Bitcoin, then 3 Bitcoin. Because at some point, there'll never be any more Bitcoins ever created. So the purpose of the bot is for us to be able to generate Digi Real Estate satoshis. Let me show you what we mean. Okay? Okay, so here the system took a trade on Dash. All right, now the system, what the system does is you will send, you'll buy a license for the system to trade. You'll link the system, you'll link the robot to your actual trading account. They do not have access to withdraw from your account. They don't know your password to your exchange account or anything like that. It's just a computer program where their bot is talking to your exchange. We're going to recommend that you use Binance as your primary exchange. They have 4 exchanges that the bot will work with. Binance has more of the assets that we'll want to trade. All right. Bittrex also probably has just as many of the assets, but you've got more flexibility if you're using the bot with Binance. If you use the bot with Binance, which is an exchange where you can buy and sell, you'll be able to determine which assets you want traded. If you use Bittrex, you won't have that that choice. And I don't know why that is. It probably has something to do with how this API, this computer access, works with Bittrex versus Binance. Okay? So you're not giving up control of your money. What you'll do is you'll make a purchase if you decide to purchase the bot, but you're not sending into the company money for them to trade. You're sending your resources to the exchange, Binance in this example. So you're going to send it in as Bitcoin. And then you're going to, when the bot does a trade, it's going to trade against Bitcoin. So essentially here what happened was it took your Bitcoin and it exchanged it for some Dash. It took your Bitcoin and exchanged it for some Dash. Okay. Now, this was the amount of Bitcoin that was used in this transaction. And this was the amount of Bitcoin that came back to the account once the transaction was sold. So let's do some numbers here because we want to look at the number of satoshis that this one trade generated. What is a satoshi? Digi real estate. Digi real estate. Okay. All right. So it sold at this price. I'm going to put this in our calculator. Okay. So it sold at this price. It purchased at this price. So in this one trade, we generated 1,424 what? Satoshis. 1,424 Satoshis. Okay. Let's do a couple of other ones. Let's do this one right here. I'm just doing a random one. Okay. So it sold at this right here. That's the price in Bitcoins. And remember, these are all what? Satoshis. These are all Satoshis. So it sold at this price. So I'm taking the sell price and I'm subtracting out the buy price. That's all I'm doing here. It bought at this price. So we earn, now we've got to make sure we've got 8 decimals here. So we're 8 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put 2 more zeros behind here. 4,200 Satoshis. Why not 42 Satoshis? Because there's 8 places beyond the decimal. All right. And the fact that it had 0, 0, the calculator just didn't calculate that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, a 7th zero, an 8th zero. 4,200 Satoshis. What is that called? Digi real estate. And let's do another one here. Let's do this one right here. All right, so it sold at this price. We're going to subtract out the buy price to determine the amount of Satoshis that we earned on this trade. Okay, let's count all of our zeros. We want to make sure we've got 8 places beyond the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there would be an 8 would be another 0. 920 Satoshis. So the bot purpose is not to develop the Digi portfolio. That's what we do our Thursday nights all about. That's what we do our periodic trades that happen throughout the week. Market's been kind of slow the last couple of days, so we haven't had any buy or sell transactions for our Digi portfolio, with the exception of what I just shared earlier, that the one that starts with the Z that we talked about last week that's in your back office is beneath our buy zone, so it's a better buy for you now than even we got the last time we entered that transaction. Okay, so the purpose of the bot is to help us accumulate Digi real estate, Satoshis. Now let me stop there and make sure that that's clear. If that is clear, in your questions box, put clear or I got it or something to that effect. Okay? Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay? So now, in order to generate, right now we're starting off with a fraction of 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 a Bitcoin. Because even, what was this, 920 satoshis? All right? Relative to a full Bitcoin, that's a small amount. But if you get 920 satoshis on this trade, and then you get 2,042 satoshis on another trade, or 1,424 satoshis on another trade, and you see the frequency, all right, we've had, well, I'm going to talk about these negatives in a little bit, okay? We've had, in a very short order, let's call it 11 days now, in a suboptimal trading environment. By the way, if you've noticed, when we first came on to the webinar, we had this showing where we had 94 completed trades. And so since we've been on the webinar, it's completed another trade. So now we have 151 total trades that the robot has undertaken. Most of that has been in suboptimal market conditions. Now 95 of these have closed out profitably. And there won't be any completed orders that the bot does that's not profitable. We're in 56 existing trades. Some of them, I'm going to go through some of these bots. Okay. When you purchase a license, don't confuse a license with the number of trading bots you can have. I was confusing that initially. A license, a $500 license, allows you to trade an account up to $2,500. You might have $5,000 in your Binance account, but the bot's only going to trade up to $2,500 of that with a $500 license. Now, if you purchase two $500 licenses, then you could trade up to $5,000. Now, with your license, you can have as many bots as you want. However, the bots that I have set up, and I'm doing all of my training will be based on a $10,000 account that has a $2,000 bot. If you do a $2,000 bot, you can trade up to a $10,000 account, okay? So just know that when I'm training here, going forward, in the back office, so on and so forth, particularly assuming that we endorse her, and we're still a little ways from that. Some of you I know want to get it, and so we wanted to provide. The purpose of our doing these webinars was not for you to say, hey, let me go and get it. It was to make sure that you were informed so that if and when you decided to get it, let's say if it was after our endorsement period, assuming that we endorse it, that you had a better understanding. I don't want you just going to YouTube and just getting the bot based on some stuff you see on YouTube, because most of the people, no disrespect, most of the people on YouTube that are promoting this, many of them will tell you, I'm not a trader. I don't know much about trading. I was looking for an automated system, and a lot of those folks have gotten beaten up in the lending space like we have. And they said, hey, well, finally, I don't have to send my money to somebody. The bot will do all the work. I don't know much about trading. Well, I know about trading. I've been trading in some form or fashion since '99. So I'm going to bring you more value than most of the folks out there. And I want you to understand it as you undertake it. And particularly coming off of what we've come off of, in my view, we need, other than just building your coin portfolio, which is the pinnacle of where we want to be, we need a win. So if we're going to employ a third party, whether it's the bot, whether it's Vista or what have you, I want it to be able to test it before, doing any type of mass promotion. Okay? All right. So, satoshis. satoshis. All right. Now let me share something else that you probably are not going to get just by going on YouTube. I want to show you something here so that we understand why it's important to know when to have the bot on, when to take the bot off, or when to lower the capacity of the bot or to increase the capacity of the bot. Now, let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I think that a lot of people are going to ultimately get this bot. And like what often happens, a lot of people go to YouTube or they go to social media. And there's going to be a lot of people promoting the bot that have no trading, understanding experience. And they may get the bot when the market is good. And the bot is kicking butt. They're knocking out trades. The trades are profitable. They don't have a lot of trades that they're staying in because the market is down. And they're going to get excited about that. And so other people are going to get the bot. And then folks are going to get the bot and then the market's going to go crap. And then you're going to wind up having folks that they turned the bot on at an inopportune time, but they didn't know it. They didn't know that the market wasn't optimal. And then they're going to get stuck with having a bunch of losing trades. And they're going to see a bunch of red. And then they're going to be saying, man, this bot thing doesn't work. That's why I will not, personally, if a person is not willing to become a Digi millionaire. Now, you don't have to make this commit. You don't have to say this. But to me, if a person is not willing to become a Digi millionaire, I don't want them to get the bot from me. And the reason being is we've got other tools. We've been trading since '99. We've got other things that we're looking at to determine whether or not we should be employing the bot. Should we have it on? Should we have it off? Should we be at 30% capacity versus 60% versus 100%, so on and so forth. Plus, those that are part of our following, you're going to know what I'm trading. You're going to know why I'm trading what I'm trading. And when I make some changes, I'm going to let you know. So you'll be able to go into the back office and you'll see exactly what assets I'm trading in the bot. Does that mean that you should do 100% of what I'm doing? No, it gives you a cheat sheet. Your big boys, your big girls, you can add to, you can take away from. Okay? Now, here's one thing I want us to understand. All right? And we'll look at a couple screenshots for you to get this. The assets that I will have the bot trading are going to be assets historically that have outperformed Bitcoin. Because if we are having the bot exchange our Bitcoin for that other asset, so if we're trading all right, so if we're trading Bitcoin against Dash, we are exchanging our Bitcoin for Dash. And what we're looking for is we're looking for Dash to increase in value relative to Bitcoin. Make sure we get this. When I exchange my Bitcoin for Dash, in order for me to win on that trade, Dash needs to outperform Bitcoin for this trading period. So if Bitcoin goes up 2%, Dash needs to go up at least 3%. So that the net effect is at least Dash is up 1% relative to Bitcoin. So everything that we're doing in the bot and when we trade for our Digi portfolio is, what is this asset doing relative to Bitcoin? So The first thing I want to make sure is that any asset that the bot is trading is an asset that has historically outperformed Bitcoin. Because if it has historically outperformed Bitcoin, even if it's out of whack now, even if it's down 23% relative to Bitcoin now, if it gets back into alignment of its historical nature relative to Bitcoin, ultimately this trade will close out profitably. Ethereum relative to Bitcoin has kicked the butt of Bitcoin. Now, since this trade was entered on February the 3rd, Ethereum has been out of balance from a historical perspective. However, what would we expect? Can't promise it. What would we expect if Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin? Kicked its butt. Look in the last year. Bitcoin was up 634%. Ethereum was up 6,674%. Has kicked the catootie, the backside, the butt of Bitcoin. So, does it bother me that I'm in a trade where Ethereum is down 7.9% relative to Bitcoin? No, because historically, Ethereum has kicked its catootie. There's always going to be imbalances in the marketplaces. But when markets come back into balance, what would we expect? Ethereum to ultimately rise, be valued above Bitcoin in terms of a percentage basis, in terms of its growth against Bitcoin relative to Bitcoin, and then this trade ultimately to be closed out profitably. So I just gave you a big cliff note. One of the first things we want to do when determining what assets the bot is to trade is to make sure that this asset historically has outperformed Bitcoin. Okay? All right. Let me show you something. Let's go on and refresh the screen here. Okay? So, let's take a look. Now, the assets that outperform Bitcoin when things are in balance, when Bitcoin goes up, the assets that have historically outperformed Bitcoin will go up more than Bitcoin goes up. Let me say that again. The assets that outperform Bitcoin historically, typically when Bitcoin is going up. Now, I don't mean in just one day. I mean if Bitcoin is now in an upswing, it's been in a downdraft, a down market the past 5 weeks. It has been up the last week, but overall in the last 5-6 weeks, the market's been down. Led by who? Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes, the market tends to go. If Bitcoin is going up, not just for a day, but is in an upswing, it will tend to lift the other boats. And those assets that have outperformed Bitcoin historically will tend to outperform Bitcoin when Bitcoin is going up. Conversely, when Bitcoin is going down, I'm not just talking about a down day. I'm talking about it's in a down draft, a down market like we've seen the last 5 weeks or so. The assets that historically have outperformed Bitcoin when it has gone up will actually outperform. I don't know that outperform is a word. Whatever the inverse of outperform, it will go down harder, larger percentage basis than Bitcoin, which is why we want to be it's not enough just to have the bot. We want to know the best times to turn the bot on for maximum profitability. And that time was not the last 10 days. I got a buy signal last night. The reason I turned the bot on, the only reason I turned the bot on 10 days ago was for testing purposes. And I figured if the bot produces during a down market, my gosh, what will she do in an up market? So look at this. I want to pay attention not to just today. I want to look at the last 7 days. Give you an example, okay? So Bitcoin is up 15% over the last 7 days. Now, Ethereum typically outperforms Bitcoin. We just saw in one of our trades that Ethereum is down. And so over the last 7 days, Ethereum has not outpaced Bitcoin. But if we were to look at this over a longer period of time, we would see that Ethereum kicks the butt of Bitcoin, as we just showed you when we looked at it over a year's time. So Bitcoin is up the last 7 days, percentage-wise, 15%. But look at Ripple. Ripple has far outperformed Bitcoin. Let's look at the chart that we looked at from the previous year. Bitcoin's up 634%. Ripple's up 11,535%. So, this is important to note. In an up market, if we were trading Bitcoin against Ripple having the bot to trade that, chances are we're going to get out of that Ripple trade pretty quickly being in a couple, 3, 4 days, profitably. Because Ripple, historically, has kicked the butt of Bitcoin. But what happens if Bitcoin is in a down market? In an up market, Ripple would kick the butt of Bitcoin, at least it has historically. But when the market goes down, guess what? Ripple goes down more percentage-wise than Bitcoin, which is why we don't want to have the bot on full throttle in a down market. Now, if you just go to YouTube, you're going to find some great marketers. They're great. That's why they're marketers. That's why they're top leaders in other companies or coming from other companies, because they're good at marketing. But then they may not know jack about trading. Matter of fact, many of them will tell you that. They'll say, I don't know anything about trading. Well, guess what? You might have joined them. Great. But you want to follow somebody that's been trading, that can say, hey, Guy X can't tell you what to do, but as for me in my house, we're turning the bot off right now because the market's not conducive. Because the bot wins by buying low, selling high. There are other markets like the Forex market where you can, or like the stock market where you can do something called selling short. Selling short is when the market is high, you think it's going to go down, so you sell a stock at $12 that you don't even own. All right, you're basically borrowing from the broker to sell the stock at $12. Then it comes down to, let's say, 10. You buy it back at 10 and you realize your $2 profit. Most people only know of buying low, selling high. Buy the stock at 10, sell it at 12. Buy the stock at 10, sell it at 12. In the stock market, in the Forex market, you can sell high first. Sell the stock at 12, buy it back. Hope it goes down. Burn, baby, burn. Go to Hades. That's not cussing, is it? Go to Hades. Go to Hades, burn, baby, burn. And you buy it back at 10 and you realize a $2 profit. We're still early in the Bitcoin Digi trading game. And so the exchanges, I haven't seen any of the regular Bitcoin exchanges where you can sell short. Now, there are certain Forex platforms where I can buy and sell Bitcoin. I can trade Bitcoin. I'm not actually buying the Bitcoin itself. I'm just doing a trade. If the market goes up and I'm in what they call a long position, a buy position, I make money. If I sell it short, the market goes down. Bitcoin relative to the US dollar is going down and I sell it short. I can make money. That's not the case with these exchanges yet. In time, maybe that will happen. But right now, the only way for us to make money in an exchange, i.e. a bot trading our exchange account, is for us to buy low, sell high. That's the only way. Buy low, sell high. So we want to focus on assets that the bot can trade that historically have outperformed Bitcoin. But now we need to understand that the inverse tends to happen. That when Bitcoin is going down, these assets will go down at a greater percentage than Bitcoin. So that's why we want to be careful as to when we have the bot running. Okay, so now let's take a look at what's been happening in the bot. Okay, let me refresh. Let's make sure I haven't gotten kicked out. Good. Hey, did you notice we closed out another trade? We started off the webinar at 94 completed transactions. A few minutes ago, we were at 95 completed transactions. Now we're at 96 completed transactions. Okay? All right, real quickly. So now let's go and take a look at the bots. Now, previous to last night, I only had 3 bots running. I'm running this on a $10,000 account. All right, I've got the $2,000 license. Essentially, with each bot, all right, if I can max out each bot with about 10 trades per bot. All right, you'll learn more about that. I don't want to confuse you tonight, okay? So right now, I can have 10 bots that could be in 10 trades at any one time. I'm not maxing that out yet. And I won't have time tonight to cover why not, but just stick with us and you'll start to understand, okay? All right, so now let's take a look at these bots one by one. All right, so here's the first bot that we set up. We set this up. This coming Friday will be 2 weeks. And that particular day, the market was up. So now I want you to think this through. If the market is up and the bot is trading assets that typically have historically outperformed Bitcoin in an up market, then those are going to be times that we're typically going to see the bot perform and we get in and out fairly quickly, okay? So you can see all these trades that happened on February the 3rd. February the 3rd, the market was up that day. Now, the entire market was in a down draft, but the market had gotten beaten up so much that this particular day, the market was up for the day, okay? And so a lot of these trades got closed out. Whoops. Don't know what happened there. A lot of these trades got closed out in short order. So let me show you. I did a screenshot on the first 24 hours. Okay. At the time, we only had 2 bots running. And then in the first 24 hours, it wasn't even a full 24 hours, we had 18 completed trades. We were still in 13 trades. And the price of Bitcoin at the time was $9,036. Well off of its lows, well off of its high, excuse me. Back in December, got up to 20,000. When we got into January, I think the first part of January was in the 13,000s, got up to 17,000 before she came crashing down. Okay? So still not the optimal time. It just so happens that the first day we started running the bot, the market was up, and we got quite a few transactions in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay? By day 3 of testing, look at where Bitcoin was. Let's go back to day 1. This is where Bitcoin was day 1. This is where Bitcoin was day 3 of testing. Bitcoin was down some 30% in a 3-day period. Now, what do we know? If we're trading assets that historically outperform Bitcoin when Bitcoin is going up, What will those assets do when Bitcoin goes down? Will they go up relative to Bitcoin, or will they be down further percentage-wise than Bitcoin as a general rule? They're going to be down further. Okay? So what happened in day 3 is we stayed on 50 total completed orders for a little bit. Why? Because we were holding a lot of trades that were underwater. Bitcoin was down. Relative to Bitcoin, many of those assets were down even further. The robot is not going to close the trade at a loss. So we're just going to be sitting there holding those positions until the market turns around and we get back into positive territory and we hit the profit target that the robot has set. This is why it's going to be important that you follow us. If you get the bot, you don't follow us, I already know what's going to happen. Unless you happen to be a trader, I already know what's going to happen. You're going to go into your account because you're going to have the bot running at full throttle at a time that you shouldn't have the bot running at full throttle, and you're going to be in a bunch of negative trades, and then you're going to remember everything that you've tried that it seemed to work right before you got into it, and the moment you got into it, it collapsed, and you're going to say, here's another one of those things, and then you're going to stop using the bot, and it was only because you didn't follow someone that knows a little about trading. I'm not the best trader in the world, but I know enough to be able to look at the bot and say, I'm going to turn it on, I'm going to turn it off, or I'm going to reduce my capacity, or I'm going to increase my capacity. It's going to be up to you, big boys and big girls, to decide what you want to do, because I can't advise you. But I can tell you my journey, okay? So we stayed on 50 completed orders for a few days, or not much more than that, because the markets were down. All right, now look at this. Okay, remember we had 18 completed orders in the first 24 hours. That day, that period of time, the market was going up for that day. It wasn't in an upswing. It was going up for that day. I normally would not have turned the bot on. I was only doing it for training purposes. I needed to see how the bot acted, and I figured if it could act good, if it could hold up during a market smackdown, pimp slap, give me my money. That's what she did. She pimp slapped us. Give me my money, doggone it. From 9,000 down to 6,300. But if she could hold, oh my gosh, we might just have something here. Now, at this point, I set up a third bot. Why in the heck would I set up a third bot when the market is getting absolutely creamed? Because I'm doing this as a test and training. Let me show you. Let me show you something. All right, so here's the first bot that I set up the day that the market was going up. All right, and then the market got smacked down. And so we still have some residual effect. All right, this trade here from back on February the 3rd is still down 23%. Ethereum is still down 7.95%. Bitcoin trading against EOS still down 10.52%. Another Ethereum trade down 6%. Dash only down 4%. All right. Here's one. We're in Litecoin here. This one hasn't closed out yet, but we're up 5.6%. Okay. Now, I could close this out if I wanted to, but I'm going to let the bot do what the bot does. All right. Now, these assets, most of these assets, some of these closed out earlier on. Some of these we held for a while, when the market got really beaten down. And now over the past week, the market has come up. Let me see if I have a picture of one of these, of this bot in the early stages. Give me a moment. We've been doing some training videos. Not that one. I may not. Okay, all right. All right, so this is the first bot that I set up. Okay. Now, here's the second bot that I set up. And you're going to notice that we've got some pending transactions, larger downdraft. Remember, we wouldn't have been trading the bot if we weren't testing it at this point. We would have turned it off because the market was not giving us a clear buy signal. Okay, so and this is what's going to happen with a lot of people who's going to get the bot that aren't going to follow us because they don't know anything about us, or they, you know, what have you, and they're not traders. They're going to wind up turning the bot on and then having assets like this down 25%, down 27%, down 27.81%. Okay, and even though we've had 44 trades in this particular bot, and we're still in 1, 2, probably 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting my pending. 8, 9, 10. Okay, very important. So right now, this bot is in 10 trades. It will not open up any additional trades until one of these 10 closes out profitably. And this right here is why you don't want to have the bot on full throttle when the market is not conducive. Because in this particular bot, it's going to take a while before this trade is profitable and we're out of it. It's down 27.81%. 14%, not that bad. This one's down 27%. This one's down 25%. This is down, this is not that bad. This is down 12. This is down 20. All right. And this is what's going to happen to a lot of people that just go on YouTube, get the bot, and know nothing about trading, and, you know, don't know, you know, they just think that it's just a set it and forget it. Well, no, it's not just set it and forget it. Well, it won't take a lot of time to manage it. All right. But you definitely want to follow us so that when we send out an email that says, hey, check your back office, we've changed our allocation of the bot, that you go back there and you understand what we mean when we say we're at 30% capacity, 50% capacity, 60% capacity, 70% capacity, so on and so forth. We'll make sure we have training for that if and when we endorse the bot. Okay? Now let me show you on this day when the market got crushed. The pimp said, give me my money. Right here. I set up another bot, knowing the market was way down, so that I could show you this. This bot right here. You see, I called it Digi Training. Now, let's take a look at this. So this bot has had 23 trades. Looks like 13 have closed out, because it's likely that we're in 10 trades now. We're in this trade here, down double digits, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades. So this bot is not going to take on any more trades until when? Until these are closed out. And if I don't go close them out, and I'm certainly not going to close out a trade that's down 23% when it is an asset that I want in my longer term portfolio anyway. This is just the markets being out of sync because I'm trading assets that have historically outperformed Bitcoin. And the markets are simply out of sync. This is why I will not have someone registering to get the bot from me if they're not committed to being a Digi Millionaire. Because I don't want that person crying to me, oh, I'm down, oh, the bot doesn't work. No, if you are going to get the bot from me, you got to be a Digi Millionaire so that you can get the training that we'll provide. I don't know what the company's going to come up with in terms of training and what have you. The company may not be able to share a lot of that because, you know, they may be doing that so they have limited exposure. I don't know. I did this so you could see what could happen if you turn the bot on when it shouldn't be turned on. It shouldn't have been turned on. I don't care that we got a few winning transactions here because we're down. And it's going to take a while before these trades are cleared out. This is why you don't just get the bot and just turn it on. Now, last night, the market has come up from her lows from just under 6,000. She actually hit under 6,000 last week. She got as high as close to 9,000 yesterday. We had some signals that were signaling that the market was making a rebound. And not only was it making a rebound, it looks like the market is poised to go up from here. Now, we may have days like today where the market's down a little bit, all right? But it looks like the market is poised to go up. So I got what I've been looking for. I got my buy confirmation to get into the markets. Now, I didn't want to max out my bots where all of a sudden I'm in 10 trades and now nothing can happen with each bot. So I only added 3 more bots. So now I'm at 60% capacity. Now, so I want us to be thinking about, matter of fact, let me take a picture of this. Did I do that earlier? No, let me take a picture. Okay. So let me show you a bot that I set up last night after I got my buy confirmation. Okay. And I want us to notice, all right. Now, remember, today, even though I got a buy confirmation, that confirmation says that it is more likely than not that Bitcoin for the foreseeable future is going to be going up. That's what that confirmation says to me. Okay? Don't worry about it. You're not going to have to read charts. I'll read the charts. I'll do all the signaling stuff. And then I'll say, hey, I got a buy confirmation. I'm increasing my capacity to the with the bots. Okay? So I just got that buy confirmation last night. And I immediately set up a bot because we got that buy confirmation. Okay? And now let's notice a couple things here. First off, with every trade the bot gets in on your behalf, every trade is going to start off in the negative. And the reason that is because there are exchange fees. There are exchange fees. And so when you get into the trade, those exchange fees are realized, at least the buy side of the exchange fees. So you're going to be slightly negative with every trade that you get into. Okay? Then as the market moves, if it moves in our favor, it goes to 1% or higher and it closes out a trade. So you can see here it closed out a trade on Bitcoin Gold. That's BTG is Bitcoin Gold. Okay? 9% return. Then a 2% return. Then a 1.96% return. But here's what I want you to get. Even though the market is down slightly today, let's look and see over the last 24 hours. Okay? All right, so she's down slightly. She was down more when we first came onto the webinar. Even though the market is down, because we waited, we were patient until we got a buy signal that, hey, it's more likely over the next few days, maybe even the next few weeks, that Bitcoin is going to go up. All right, it doesn't mean that's 100%, but it's more likely. And that's when we decided, hey, let's ramp up the bot a little bit more. And even in the trades that we're still holding, notice it's only down 1.15%, or only down 1.5%, only down 3.33%. Look at the difference in a market that we shouldn't have been using the bot. You see the difference? You see the difference? In the market where our tools say, hey, go on. Do your thing. We're down a little bit, 0.28%. It's not going to take long for that to turn around and to potentially be profitable. And as a matter of fact, some of these positions are the same positions that were down in another bot. So here is a big point. Be patient. Don't max out all of your bots as soon as you get it. What we did is we set up those bots that more for training purposes and learning purposes than anything else. But we only started off with 20% capacity, 2 bots, trading 10 assets at any one time. Then we upped it to a 3rd bot, specifically for training purposes. Then what we did, Danielle, I sent you a message because I know you've already gotten the bot. I sent you a message earlier today, and I gave you what I'm doing. The reason, Danielle, Joe Sanchez, the reason that I only, I said, hey, this is what I did. These are the 3 bots I have and to get started, and I wouldn't do any more than that. You're a big boy, you're a big girl, you do whatever you want to, but I wouldn't do any more than that. Here's why. I want you to see something. Give me a moment. Is this the one? Okay, look at this. Bitcoin trading against BitShares. BTS's BitShares. And this bot that we started when we shouldn't have started it, but we did it for training purposes, relative to Bitcoin, BitShares is down 27% in that bot. I thought I saw another BitShares. Here's another BitShares. Okay, another trade on BitShares. Relative to Bitcoin, BitShares is down 27.94%. So let me show you what we did, Danielle. When we got the buy signal, I went through my bots to see those trades where we were down like 10%, 15%, 20%. And what does this say? Existing open orders. So I went through the bots to see the ones that were down. Because historically, every asset that I'm trading has outperformed Bitcoin for the time that it's been around. There's an imbalance in the market. So I said, okay, there's an imbalance with BitShares. Let me have a new bot with the market giving me confirmation that she's likely to go up, with an asset that typically has outperformed Bitcoin, so that if the market goes up and this finally gets back in balance, here's an asset that was down 27% in one bot that closed out with a profit in another bot. See, here was my figuring. If she's down 27%, she's out of balance. For her to be closed out in the other bot at a profitable position, she's got to move 2%, 3%, 4%. So now I can open up a new bot and have the bot take on a trade there, and that's pair some of the loss from the other bot. Some of you got that, some of you didn't. Don't worry about it, because if we endorse her, and right now, I can tell you right now, I don't see anything that would keep me from endorsing her, other than the fact that I said I'm going to wait 30 days. There'll be some things I'll share with you about the networking side. There's one thing I don't quite like on the networking side. It's not a deal breaker, not by any means, because not everybody is going to be here for the networking side. Some of us are just going to be here for the bot, and that's cool. Okay? So look at the difference in setting up and running the bot when we've got confirmation that the market is more likely to go up than it is to go down. And that could be wrong. That'll happen. A few weeks ago, we had a buy confirmation. Only a couple days later for that buy confirmation to turn into a sell confirmation. Meaning that if I had the bot turned on when it was a buy, and then I get a signal that says, sorry, she did a head fake on us, I turned the bot off. By the way, if we turn the bot off, it's still going to manage our open positions. So if they get to the profit target, it'll still close those out. What it will not do if we turn the bot off is it will not take on new trades. And that works because I've turned, I've had a bot where it didn't have the full 10 trades that it was in at that point, turned it off for a few days to test, and sure enough, it did not take on any new trades. Okay, let me see if there's anything else, and then we'll open up for a few Q&As. Let's take a look at this bot real quickly. Now, this bot, what I did is I put in this bot, I set this one up last night. I'm testing some aftermarket ICOs. Now, when I say ICOs going forward, I'm not talking about lending platforms. I'm talking about, you know, when you're on CoinMarketCap and you see a banner and it's got talking about an ICO, it's got nothing about a lending platform, those types of ICOs, okay? I don't know that this will be something we'll do long term. I don't know. I have to test. So far, we've got 16 trades. We're in 10 of those now, so we've had 6 of them to close out. Decent profits on the on that one there. You know, these are decent profits. But once again, now these don't have as long of a trading history. Some of these maybe are just a few months old, so we don't have as much historical data. But they have, from the time that they've been in the marketplace, outperformed Bitcoin. So we'll have to see if we'll keep trading these. But again, I was never going to know unless I tested it. Okay. So you can see these are down a little bit more than the other assets you saw. The other assets that you saw were assets that I definitely want in my longer term Digi portfolio. All right. Let me just think. Let me make sure. Let me look at my notes, make sure. How much notice will I give as to when to turn it on, turn it off? As soon as I have a signal that is converse to what we have last told our audience, I will send out an email and I will post that in our back office. Okay, give me a moment. Let me just look at my notes, make sure I've got everything that I wanted to address. I did. Okay. All right, so we got everything that we wanted to address. All right, so Queen, how about we do this? How about we go into about 15 minutes or so of Q&A? And I know that might be a little short time given the wealth of information that we shared. But I have some other weightier matters that I need to attend to. So Queen will open up for 15 minutes.
Any questions you have, or if you had some earlier, you need to put them in now. How much notice will you give when it's time to turn the bot on and off?
Yeah, that was the question I just saw there, Queen. We'll send out an email, and we'll definitely post it in our back office, in the CRB Digi Millionaire back office, probably under news, letting you know, hey, we just got a buy signal, or we just got a sell signal, or what have you. And then I'll let you know at what capacity I'm running bots, or if I've turned any bots off, or what have you. So just as soon as I get a, I typically will have some notice that the market might be turning. So I'll let you know that, hey, I'm getting some my tools and my technical analysis is pointing to the fact that the market might be turning. So let's just be on the lookout. Let's be cautious. And then once we get a confirmation of either buying or a confirmation of selling, we'll definitely let you know.
Okay, Doc. If you do the $500 license bot, and that means you have like $2,500 to trade total. how much? Okay, how many bots? That's first of all, because you don't set up. You set up different types of things on different bots, correct?
Yeah, and
different types of assets.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Queen, the way they have the bots designed is that you have to have at least 15 assets in any one bot. Okay, and that's a decent amount.
Okay.
So you're likely you are going to essentially be trading the same assets over and over and over and over and over again, because let's say if you had 3 bots and all of them had 15 assets, that's 45 assets. You're probably not going to want to trade much more than that, because then you're going to wind up getting into maybe some assets that are, will be, much further down on CoinMarketCap. So I'm doing that testing with the aftermarket ICOs, but my bread and butter are going to be in the top 50.
Okay, then if you have, with a $500 license, are you saying you can only set up 3 bots, or how many bots can you?
No, you can set up. Let me see. The minimum trade. The maximum trade is going to be, each trade is going to be. It doesn't matter if you got 500 or 500,000. It's going to be 0.01. All right, so that protects everyone in the event that you've got some bad trades. All right, 0.01. So if you're trading $2,500, give me a moment. 0.01. So 0.01. If we go to Preve. All right, so 0.01 is...
talking about 0.01 Bitcoin.
I'm sorry, yeah, 0.01 Bitcoin. All right, so that's $86.88. Paul, if you're here, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to trade 0.01, do you? That's the max.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay, I don't think. So when you're setting up your bot, it's going to ask you how much do you want to invest in that bot. So if you said I want to invest 0.1, okay, then what the bot is going to do is it's going to open up a maximum of 10 trades at 0.01 total. So if I'm trading $2,500, I may not even assign 0.1 to a bot. I might assign 0.05. Okay, and actually that might not. I might do 0.025. All right, I might do 0.025 because that means I could actually have like 9 bots. Okay, now why would you want to have as many bots? Here's one of the reasons. So I basically have 3 workhorse bots. One with my top 20. A second one with some of the assets between 21 and 50 as it relates to CoinMarketCap. A third one that I'm testing with some aftermarket ICOs. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to keep some capacity available in the event that some of those trades are underwater, particularly if they're underwater by a large margin. Because if I am in situations like this, and my bot's only going to trade have 10 open trades per bot, and now I'm in 10 open trades, but look at the percentage down I am. So the market, it's going to take some time for these to start to close out. And that could be days. So, Queen, what I would like to have is some free capacity. Even though I got a buy signal, I didn't go at 100%. I'm at 60. So, if you're not going to get this on YouTube. So if, Queen, let's say my after ICO bot, let's say all of a sudden, now I'm not gonna do anything. I've got assets down 5%, down 6%, not a big deal. But if all of a sudden I come in here and many of these assets are down 15%, 20%, and I believe in the asset, then I'd like to be able to open up another bot and have that bot trade this asset and this asset and this asset. Yeah, it's getting beaten down. When it rebounds, if it has historically outperformed Bitcoin, now again with these aftermarket ICOs, not lending platform ICOs, aftermarket ICOs, they don't have as much trading history, all right, which is why for me this is a test. So you might not want to start off, if you get the bot soon, you might not want to start off doing this. You might just want to kind of follow what we're doing on this. We'll let you know if we plan on keeping this long term. All right. So Queen, let's assume I plan on keeping this long term. I'm basically going to have 3 workhorse bots, and I'll have the other ones to set up when these are filled to capacity, and I want to pair some of the other losses, or maybe there's some new assets that I want to trade, so on and so forth. So I would probably, if I'm trading a $2,500 account, I would probably assign like 0.25 to that particular bot. Let me see if you see right here. You see what this is, Queen? What this is saying here is the most this bot will trade is 0.1 Bitcoin. But it's not going to put that all in one trade. It's going to trade that over as many as 10 assets. Yeah. So that's another reason why you don't freak out when you see, oh man, this is down 24.29%. Well, think this through, Queen. I'm only trading per trade I assign 0.1 to the robot based on a $10,000 account, but it would then take that 0.1 and divvy it up amongst 10 different trades. So each trade is 0.01 Bitcoin.
Right.
So Queen, that trade is down 25%. It's not my entire account is down 25%. It's not even my entire $10,000 is down 25%. It's $87.29 worth of Bitcoin that's down 25%. That makes sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think I just made the questions box disappear.
You made the questions box what?
Disappear.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I meant to bring up so that people could see that what's happening when you're logging into your platform, you can see at a glance what's happening from the bot, but it coincides with what is happening in your Binance account. I'll show you that while you're looking for the next question. I'll find a trade that recently closed, and we'll be able to see. Give me a moment. Let's do.
Well, I could just say that basically what you're saying is that you could have as many as, 9 bots running if you had a $2,500 account with a $500 license?
Yeah, you could.
Or you could have more.
Yeah.
Or that's the max.
Whatever. I don't know what the minimum is in terms of what you can commit to any one bot. Paul, if you're out there, if you know what that minimum is, let me know. But if
1.1 Bitcoin, 10% of it Bitcoin.
Is that the minimum? I know that. Is that the minimum I can commit to?
He said, 0.1 BTC is the minimum. And then I have Mike saying 0.005.
Okay, so we're going to have to get an answer to that one. We've got conflicting answers there, so we have to get an answer.
Okay.
They do have an instant chat, but they're not available right now. When they are available, they're very responsive. But I think they're across the pond. I think they're on other part of the world, so they're not available right now.
So is there a minimum account balance that you should have with the $500 license or the $2,000 license? Well, I would say $2,000. If you go that far, you should definitely be ready to do the
with a $500 license. You know what?
trade.
We'll probably have to better answer that on Thursday. By then, hopefully, we'll have an answer to what is the minimum that you can investment that you can have in a bot. Because if the answer is Paul's answer, that the minimum is 0.10, then that means, well, you know, the system's going to know how much you have in your account because of your API access. So it's not going to let you trade any more than what you have in your account. Let me show you what I mean.
Right.
Let's table that answer. Okay. All right. So for instance, Queen, okay, my license allows me to trade $10,000. Now I could have $20,000 in the account, but it's only going to allow me to trade 10,000. And then it's going to know how much available of the 10 I have. I've got 0.4705 Bitcoin that can be traded. The rest of that right now is being used. 0.56 Bitcoin is tied up in trades. Here's my trade limit. This is the most that I can trade, 0.62. But Queen, I don't have 0.62. I've got 0.47. So the system's going to know how much you have available to trade in your account. What I need to get a clear answer on, since we've got dissenting answers here, and I don't know the answer, is what is the minimum you need to set up in trading the robot? If it's 0.1 or is it 0.025, I'm not sure. That's going to determine if you got 2,500 or less, maybe the way that you're going to go. So let's be patient. Even if you set up the bot, all right, let's be patient until we have a full answer for you. And prayerfully we have that by our Thursday webinar. Okay.
Okay. This was somebody's suggestions. Why not use Telegram to get your message out? And it's, well, if you have multiple places if Doc has multiple places that he has to go to send out messages, then it takes more time. It's already set up so that people who are in CRB, you can grab, you can get your messages under news, and he sends out emails, once a day. So he's giving a lot of time as it is, and so when you start trying to do multiple places, that takes up more time. Is that okay, Doc?
Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you saying that.
More time and learning. So, we're getting great information. So let's, let's take advantage of where we can get it from. And it is and basically the information is for people who are in CRB, correct?
Well, anybody can come to, let's assume that we do promote the bot. All right. I see nothing right now.
Promote the bot.
Yeah. People can come to our Tuesday night webinars, whether they're in CRB or not. People can come to our Digi Basics webinars, whether they're CRB or not. But in terms of when we're turning it on, when we're turning it off, what we're trading and what have you, that's premium content. All right. And, I didn't get that just because by osmosis. I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money to learn that stuff, Queen. So
I know
that one I'm not giving that one away for free.
Okay. I mean, and I just want to make that clear, because, when we start trying to give it out and give the information out in a whole bunch of different places, then it's no longer private. It's no longer members only information. It becomes,
Yep.
We give it out to everybody. So there's a reason for members only, right?
There's a reason for members only.
You're special. Yeah, we're special.
Yep.
Aren't we?
Yeah, and which is again why I said I won't personally knowingly register someone or get someone registered that's not willing to make that commitment, because if you're going to outlay $500 or you're going to outlay $2,000, you want to make sure that you get, you optimize everything. All right. And that's going to, when I turn it on, when I turn it off, Why don't I have all bots running right now? When do I set up another bot? All that kind of stuff is, we're going to make that known to our members, assuming that we endorse her. Next question, Queen.
Okay. Your 15 minutes is up.
Okay. All right, Quinn, I wanted to show one thing here. All right, so let's take a look. We had a trade that closed out earlier today. Bitcoin trading against EOS. So I'm going to go into Binance. I'm going to look up EOS. And let's see. All right, so there might have been, because I've got multiple bots, so there could have been other trades that closed out on EOS. So this was, I'm not going to pay attention to the hour because the hour of this platform and the hour of Binance could be different, but the minutes are the same. The 51 minutes and 23 seconds, that's the same. So let's see if that's that trade. It's this one right here. It was a buy order. So you see we bought at 51.23. I forgot what this shows. This doesn't show when the order was closed out. This shows when the order was purchased. Okay, so we bought at 51.23, and we bought 9 EOSs. And look at what you see here, Queen. You see this at 51.23?
Yes.
EOS trading against Bitcoin. We bought 9. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And let's see what the price was. 10.02.314. I don't know if there was a look at that. You see this? We bought at 10.02.314. And then this transaction sold right here. It sold the 9. And we collected whatever the difference is. Here are the satoshis that we collected. So 2,552.0. So 2,052 satoshis that we collected on that particular trade. And the reason I wanted to show you this is I wanted to show you that the bot is communicating with your exchange. You should be able to go back into your exchange. All right. Now, we've got a lot of trades here. All these trades are bot trades. All these trades here are bot trades. That's, you know what? I may have done EOS before. So some of but all the BTCs are bot trades. Let's take this out. I had a few trades in here before we started with the bot, but the overwhelming majority of these trades are all bot trades. Okay, so you'll be able to pair them up. And the reason I wanted to say that, Queen, and let me finish with this. You know our best friend blogger, right?
Yes.
With his idiot self. Gosh, he is so stupid.
Yes.
Well,
that's okay.
in his blog, of course, everything to him is a scam. And what he said in his blog is that we were sending our money to the company. They were trading our money. They're not trading our money. You are buying a software that does the trades, but the company can't touch your money. Okay? Right. And so I wanted to show you that you have full control. If I want to go and I want to turn off any of these bots, all I got to do is come over here to where it says stop buy. If I am sick of the company, I don't like the company anymore, it's got me into some trades, and I don't want to use the bot even though I paid for an annual license, Queen, all I'd have to do is go and disable what's called the API. And it will stop. It will stop talking to my exchange.
It'll stop communicating.
It'll stop communicating, and then I would be responsible for closing out any trades or what have you. If we endorse this, you will have full control over your money. You're not sending in your money into a system for them to do the trading. You're sending money to the exchange, Binance, Bittrex. We recommend Binance. Your money goes to Binance. The system will walk you through how to set up your API key. And then, assuming that we endorse her, we will have loads of training inside of Digi Millionaires. We'll have, webinars where we present this, and we'll have this as a part of a campaign that we will launch in terms of marketing for those of you who've been waiting for a marketing campaign. That's coming. That will be coming, okay? Let's finish this 30 days. Let's determine if we're clearly going to endorse her. I see nothing right now that would keep me from doing so, but I want to honor my 30 days. I don't want to move too fast. Last thing I will say is, I know last week, Queen, we had some people saying, hey, I want to go on and get the bot. It is a manual process, right. Okay? If you are tied directly to me and directly to me only, you can send in a support ticket and say, only if you're ready for the bot. You're ready to pay $500 for the license, or you're ready to pay $2,000 for the license. If you're saying, I'm going to get the bot in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, please don't clutter the support ticket. I finally got them cleared out. Okay, so don't clutter. All right, but yeah. If you're tied to me, and you know how we do, if you should be connecting with Queen, then don't send me a support ticket saying I'm ready to go. We're going to have to be patient. This is a manual process. We're having to have a couple things done so that Queen, for instance, you can register your folks, and then they can turn around and register their folks. We're not quite there yet. They don't have automated referral links just yet. All right, so bear with us there. And let me say this, I want to be very clear. If you're trying to move ahead of your person that follows you, so you normally follow Queen and you know that she's got the bot, or she's getting the bot, she's just waiting to get set up, and you try to circumvent Queen, I love you. Don't ever come to any of my webinars again. I love you. I love you. Cancel your CRB membership, because you have not captured our spirit. And Queen, I'm serious about this. I only plan to market for another, December 31st, 2020 is when I'm retiring from marketing. Queen, the only people I want to deal with between now and then are folks that get what we're doing. And if people don't get what we're doing, we love them. I'm just not the dude for them. So if you're going to try to go around your sponsor because you got to get the bot, I love you, I really do, but I ain't your guy. If you don't know me by now, don't do that. You will never know me. Ooh.
No, don't do that.
Woo! All right, so only if you're ready for the bot. Only if you're ready, whether it's a $500 or $2,000 purchase, only if you're ready for that, and you should be connected to me, send me a support ticket. If you're not yet in Digi Millionaires and you want the bot and you should be connected to me, send me an email, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to send you anything to get you registered until I see that you have gotten into CRB Digi Millionaires. All right, if you're not cool with that, then you can go and find somebody else on YouTube that you can join. I only want to deal with people that understand what we're doing. And Queen, especially coming off of what we came off of, I want to limit the potential of people getting hurt.
I understand that.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
That's why you're testing.
That's why we're testing. That's why we're testing. One last thing.
Right. That's why you're the guinea pig.
Yeah, that's why I'm the guinea pig. As it relates to Vista, they made a post that 2.0 is not ready just yet. It'll be sometime in March, so we'll come back and revisit that at the time. And then, Queen, we might even do a poll to see if indeed we do promote the bot Are people going to want to promote the bot and, let's say, Vista? Or are they going to want to just promote the bot for a while, get that under us, get people making some money with the bot before we, add anything? So we'll kind of figure out. We'll kind of do a democratic process there, so we'll know where to put our attention and our focus and our energies to help you become as successful as we possibly can. All right. Got to go. Love each and every one of you. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, everyone else on the other side of the webinar. Everyone that wants to get the bot from me, you should know how to get in touch with me. Send me a support ticket if you're in CRB, please. And we'll start that process sometime tomorrow. All right, not tonight. I got to do some other stuff tonight. We'll start that process sometime tomorrow. Love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. And let's get to the Digi, my gosh, millionaire status. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone.